right, so this episode is going to be called The $1 Billion Invoice. What is your true value? And value maxing. So there's this new trend online where people are like looks maxing. Like they're trying to look as good as they can. Like, how good can I look? And I started thinking like, yeah, it's a good concept. But what about value maxing? Like becoming as valuable as you can. Because I was using the Stripe app, right? And on Stripe, you can send $1 billion invoice. Like, you ever thought of that? Like, imagine you making an invoice. Like, you're like, how much should I send this person a link? And they hit that link and they put in their card information. And then when they pay, it goes to your bank account, right? You just send them a link. Now on Stripe, you can send $1 billion invoice to somebody. Now think about it. You have the power to ask somebody for $1 billion and they pay it and it goes to your bank account. Like, easily, for free. Like, Stripe is free. So you can send somebody $1 billion invoice on their phone. They put their card in, Google Pay, PayPal, Apple Pay, whatever they want to pay, ACH, wire transfer. They send you $1 billion and then it goes to your bank account. Now I know you're thinking, now you're thinking like, how can I create enough value that somebody will pay me that amount of money? Right? So now you're value maxing. You're increasing your looks, but you're increasing your value. Because let's say you send somebody $1 million invoice, but you're going to make them $5 million, right? So they're going to pay you $1 million. So they're going to be like, okay, just paid it. I'm going to pay you the $1 million. Boom. Now you have $1 million in your bank account. Like, that quick. Like, and that's doable. Like, that's totally, if it wasn't doable, then they wouldn't allow you to make that big of an amount. Right? So if you can create enough value in this 2022 in a package or something that you're offering, then boom, you're going to make a lot of money. It's literally that simple. Like, the same way you can make a video or a YouTube channel and send somebody a link to watch it, you can create 1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 or even $1 billion or $1 million invoice to somebody and send it to them and they accept it, right? But now that forces you to look at who's around you and who are you actually conversating with. Because the guy that's next to you, he can't give you $1 million. Even if you have $1 million worth of value to give him, he doesn't understand the value in it because he probably has no value, right? So if he doesn't have any value, then maybe you should change who you're around and who you're associated with. That's why I made that show, Avoid the Unhappy and Unlucky. Because, like, let's say you have people around you that's easily like the same, like people who can accept a $10 invoice just as easily as they can accept $1 million invoice. They can accept a $20,000 invoice just as easily as they can accept a $20 invoice. So now it's easy for you to send them a $25,000 invoice because they already have it and you're going to make them more money. So it's a no-brainer. But if it's not a no-brainer, then you probably either your value is not enough, you didn't sell it well, or you didn't show the person that they're going to make more from what they're giving you. right? But if you don't even have the mindset to create that type of invoice, then you just need to look at what you're doing in your life. Like if creating a $25,000 or $30,000 invoice and giving it to somebody scares you, then you have to look at like what are you offering? Like how much are you worth? That's my problem with like hate channels. Like we talked about the YouTube channel where people talk about scammers and all that. It's like this guy's a scammer, this guy's a scammer. Yeah, you can make a whole YouTube channel about that. But if you so let's just say you got a YouTube channel where you're just bashing a lot of people, right? You're just bashing this guy is this guy is this guy is this. Now, if you send somebody a $25,000 invoice and you're talking about other people, like what are you? There's no value in that. Like the value is there's no value in it. You're just entertaining people they probably already have a hateful energy, or they're just curious to know how you're going to hate on them if they were to do the same things that the person that you're hating on is doing, right? Because hate is usually what takes people to the next level. Like the moment people start hating you, that's the moment you're going to blow, because I'm just speaking on the algorithm of YouTube, right? Because like I have value outside of a YouTube channel, right? So even if my YouTube channel is shut down, like I have the ability to get to people who have to make more money. But that always exists. So even if my YouTube channel shuts down, it's like, okay, I don't care. You see what I mean? But somebody who has a hate channel is like, okay, I'm making money on a revenue? Like, what if YouTube bans me? Right? Like, what if you get banned? What if... That's my problem with, like, the social media marketing agency, SMMA model. Like, I remember when that was big. It's like, yeah, you can build a social media marketing agency for a business, but what if social media, like, bans them? Now, what if Facebook is like, no, you're no longer allowed on Facebook? Or Google's, well, not Google, but TikTok is like, no, you're no longer allowed. Instagram is like, no, you're banned. And everywhere you try to go or do something, it's like, you can't get on there. So now you're rushing around like, oh, I tried to start a social media marketing agency, but I can't even get on social media anymore. And it's like, okay, now you built something. You built something that was based on, like, it wasn't really like human to human. There's really no value in it, because the value is what you're selling. It's not the social media. The value is how you're generating more profits. It's not the social media. The social media is just a tool that you're using. But you should have an ability to do that without social media. Like, you should be able to produce profits without social media. As crazy as that sounds. But it's not crazy. That's the thing. People think they need social media. But I'm saying, yeah, social media is a boost, but I think some people forget that social media didn't exist in like 1980. And I know people, they'll be like, yeah, but this is not 1980. But yeah, that you can take some advice from the people in the 1980s, because they were selling millions of dollars without social media. Right? So now you're thinking, how were they doing that? You see, now when you think about how they were doing that, now you kind of have an advantage, because everybody's using social media. But social media is just a tool, right? Like if you look at if you look at a lot of marketing, digital marketing websites, they say, oh, I do Google Ads, I do Facebook, I do SEO, I do website design, I do this. But it's like, yeah, that's great. But what does that do for me? You know what I'm saying? That's good. But it's just a tool, right? It's like going to a mechanic, and a mechanic is like, I fix cars. Here's my tools. I use a wrench. I use a trolley. I use a torque wrench. I use, caps. I use a rag. You're going to be like, I don't care what you use. I need my car fixed. Are you good at fixing cars? What's the result of what you're doing? Is my car going to be fixed? They don't care about the wrench. They don't care about your wrench. They don't care about your boots or your clothes or what you're using. They don't care about the tools that you use. They care about what they're getting. And if you take that approach, then your value, you can offer more because you're results focused. Like if you build everything, even your copy off of results. And that's a universal concept too, because you can do that with your products. Like with your products, you can show what's the result of this, right? The result and the benefit. The benefit, right? Benefit and results are synonymous because with a result, there's a benefit. See? So if you sell results and benefits over tools, then you'll see a shift in your value. You'll see a shift in your value. So back to the invoice, right? So you can send $1 billion invoice with Stripe. And Stripe is pretty good. Like I was sleeping on Stripe like heavy. Like Stripe is amazing. Like even with PayPal, like I wouldn't even send like 100,000 because PayPal is rough, especially when you're doing like foreign transactions. Like PayPal is crazy. Like if I was to send like $1 million to like a Colombian or like even a Pakistan, well, I don't even think they have PayPal in Pakistan, or even like any foreign like country that makes money in a different way, like Colombia. Like so, Colombians they're big on money laundering. So if you do anything through Colombia, like they're gonna be on it, especially PayPal. Like if you send like $100,000 to a Colombian, they'll be like a smart Colombian be like, don't send that shit through PayPal, because they're gonna block that shit, and it's gonna be in that account. You gonna call them, they'll be like, oh, we have to deal with this, and it's gonna be an issue. But with Stripe, that shit'll go right through, and be like, oh, this will be available on Wednesday or something. And you can create $1 billion invoice on Stripe. Now that's crazy. That's amazing. Like, that's amazing. And right through the phone. It's not like back in the day where you had to like, oh, I got to go to the bank. I got to create $1 billion invoice. And the bank is like, what you need $1 billion invoice for? So now they're all in your business. Now you're like, oh, I got to find a way to make this $1 billion invoice. And now you can just put it on your phone, open it up, register an account for free, put in all your information, put in your bank information. So when they pay you, it goes to your bank. And all the payment systems are safe. You just put in 1,000,000,000,000. And then if you have enough value, then boom. Like, that's amazing. Like, even though I don't have $1 billion value, the fact that you can even do that just makes you think like, wow, that's even amazing to be able to do that, to even create that.